logical addressing or IP addressing. So as we already know that in the network layer, the communication happens from host to host. That is either from one computer to another computer or from a source to destination, isn't it? So we know that one computer will be connected at one place and another computer will be connected at some another place. So we want to establish communication between these two systems with the help of a network. Okay, so we know that computers are generally connected, or computers are generally kept in a network for them to be communicated. So we call this network to be internet. So why we are calling it as internet? Because it is a network of networks. The internet is a network of networks. Okay, so when the computers are connected in different networks, okay, the packets which are transmitted by the source computer or the sending computer will pass through different types of LANs and WANs before reaching to the destination computer. Okay, so next what happens is, for this kind of communication, of course we need a global addressing scheme. Why we need a global addressing scheme? Because there are different billions and billions of devices connected in the internet. So if you want to make communication from only a particular source to a particular destination, obviously we need to have a global addressing scheme. So this global addressing scheme is what we are going to call it as logical addressing. Okay, so a logical address is also called as IP address. Okay, so in our TCP/IP protocol suite, we are going to call this logical address as IP address. Okay, you can call it either logical address or IP address, but it is most commonly called as IP address. Okay, so our IP address is of 32 bits length. Okay, so if it is of 32 bits length, so how many number of addresses we can have? 2 power 32 addresses. Do you remember? That is, if our IP address is 32 bit length. Okay, so how many number of addresses we can get? 2 power 32 number of addresses. Okay, so these addresses, what we are getting from this IP address space, so these addresses are referred as IPv4 addresses, or Internet Protocol version 4 addresses, or simply we call them as IP address. We can call them as IPv4 addresses, or by default you can call them as IP addresses. Okay, now let us now come to know about IPv4 addresses, or simply IP addresses. As already discussed, this IP address is 32-bit address, and we told that every system or every computer or every device connected in the network should be uniquely and universally define the connection for that device. Okay, be it a computer, be it a router, be it a printer or anything else, for that device to be connected in the internet. Okay, the address for that device should be unique and it is universally identifiable. Okay, then only we can communicate with that device from other device. Okay, so whenever there is a device which is working at the network layer, and the device is having m number of connections to the internet, then obviously it needs how many addresses? M number of addresses. For one connection we need one address. If we have m number of connections, then obviously we require m number of addresses. So when we see in our examples, a router is such a device where it has m number of IP addresses, because a router is the one which acts as a interface between two networks. Okay, so when it is connecting two networks, on the one interface it has one IP address, on the other interface it will be having another IP address. Okay, we'll be seeing about that shortly. Okay, so as we are telling that IP addresses are universal, so why we are calling them as universal means, this IP addresses, when a device wanted to connect to the internet, it must accept, that is any host which wanted to be connected to the internet must accept this kind of addressing scheme, because this addressing scheme helps us to identify a particular device on the network uniquely and universally. Now, coming to the address space of IPv4. Okay, so every protocol, this internet protocol address is going to define some addresses. We told that there are 2 power 32 addresses. So this the combination of all these addresses we are going to call it as address space. Okay, so if you see here, the address, what is address space? Address space is nothing but the total number of addresses used by the protocol. So how many addresses the IPv4 protocol is using? 2 power 32 addresses. So the total number of 2 power 32 addresses are called the address space of the IPv4 protocol. So if you see, if a particular protocol is using n number of bits to define an address, then what will be the address space? It is 2 power n, because either we can have 0 or 1. For that reason, for n number of bits, we can have 2 power n number of values for that. So as IPv4 address is of 32-bit address, okay. So what does it mean? It means that we have 2 power 32 addresses, that is more than 4 billion addresses are there, okay. Next, coming to the notations. Basically, IPv4 addresses are written, or there are two major types of notations for IPv4 address. The first one is binary notation, and the second one is dotted decimal notation. Okay, so the first one is binary representation or binary notation, and the second one is dotted decimal notation or dotted decimal representation. Let us now see. Let us now see how these happen. Okay, the first one is binary notation. So, in binary notation, as the name specifies itself, everything represented will be represented in the form of zeros and ones. Okay. So we know that the IPv4 address is how many bits? It is 32 bits, right? So here we are going to divide these 32 bits into 4 octets. So how many bits will be there in an octet? There will be 8 bits in an octet, right? So these 32 bits will now be divided into 4 octets, and each octet is going to contain 8 bits, okay. And also 8 bits are referred as byte, okay. So we have 32 bits, right? So IPv4 address is of 32 bits, and if you wanted to tell in bytes, how many bytes it is? 4 bytes. So it is of 4-byte address, right? So 1 byte is a 8 bits, right? So if you see this IPv4 address, the IPv4 address is of 4-byte address. The example on the bottom, if you see, we have 4 octets, 4 different octets, and each octet is of 8 bits, or these 8 bits are called as bytes. So we have 4 different types of numbers, right? So this is the first byte, and then the second byte, and then the third byte, and then the last one is the fourth byte. So 0 1 1 1 0 1 0 1 is the first byte, 1 0 0 1 0 1 0 1 second byte, 0 0 0 1 1 1 0 1 third byte, 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 the fourth byte. Okay, so this is a simple example of how we represent an IPv4 address in the binary notation. Okay, next, coming to the dotted decimal notation. So if we wanted to remember the IP address in this binary notation, it is very much problem for us to remember, and it is very complex to write them. For this reason, we have another type of notation called dotted decimal notation. So to make these IPv4 addresses more easier, more compact to read and to remember, the internet addresses are generally written in the decimal format. Okay, not just writing in the decimal format. These numbers are separated by dots. If you see in the binary representation, we have 0 1 1 0 1 0 1, which is converted to decimal representation 117. Next, for the next byte, we have separated that one with the dot. Okay, and again 100 10101, its binary, its decimal representation is 149, and then dot. Next 0 its decimal representation is 29, and the last one 0 and 10, it is in decimal, it is 2. So this is how we represent the dotted decimal notation of the IP addresses. Okay, so simply we take the binary digits, we take the binary number. Okay, that is 0 and 1. We convert them to the decimal. So we can say that this is a dotted decimal representation. Okay, which are separated by dots. Next. So here, if you remember, how many number of bits are there in each byte or in each octet? 8, right? So there are 8 bits, right? So what will be the value of each and every byte? 2 power 8. 2 power 8 means how much? 256, right? Is 2 power 8 256 only? Yes, right? So 2 power 8 means 256. That is, it can have 256 values. That is, the values in the IP address ranges from 0 to 255. 0 to 255 means total number of bits, total number of values are 256 bits. That is, the value, if we wanted to represent a value in decimal number for representing IP address in decimal notation, the number should not exceed 255. Okay, so if you see here, these are the IP addresses which are in the binary notation. So we wanted to convert them into dotted decimal notation. So simply what you will do, convert each and every byte into decimal notation and separate them with dots. So the first one will be 129.11.11.239, and the second one will be 193.131.27.255. So what we have done here, we replaced each group of 8 bits or a single byte with its equivalent decimal number, and then what we have done, we have added a dot for separating each and every decimal number. So this is how we convert from binary representation to decimal representation. And here we have decimal representation to binary representation. What we do, we simply convert each and every number into its corresponding binary representation. That is 111. In binary is 0 11 1 0 11 11, and then 56 is 00 11 000 45 78, so on. We represent them in the binary digits. So we replace each decimal number with its equivalent binary number. Okay. Now let us discuss about what will be the errors in this IPv4 address. So the first one is 111.56.045.78. Can anyone say what is the problem in this IP address representation? Can anyone say this one? 111.56.045.78.
045.
045, because any number in IP address representation should not start with 0 preceding the other numbers. Okay, so it should not be like 01, 02, 03. It should not be like that. If it is 0, simply it should be like 0.78. That's it. But it should not be, that is, no 0 should precede any other number while representing the IP address. Next, what about the B bit? 221.34.7.8.20.
5 octets.
Here we have 5 octets, right? But IPv4 is having only 32 bits, right? How many 32 bits means how many octets? Only 4 octets or 4 bytes, but here it is 5 octets, so it is also wrong. Next, what about C bit? 75.45.301.14. What is wrong in
301.
this one?
301.
Why? Because only the
255.
values range between 0 to 255, but it is greater than 255. So this is wrong. And next, what is there any wrong in D bit?
Uh, binary.
111.000.10.23.14. Yeah, here we are having a combination of binary and decimal representation. Either you have to write in complete binary representation, or you have to write in complete decimal representation. You cannot or you should not mix this binary representation or decimal representation. So here you have to write either all the last 3 numbers in binary, or you have to change this first binary digits into a decimal representation. Okay, so this is the thing. Now coming to the classful addressing. So in IP addressing, we have different types of addressing. So the first scheme we are going to discuss about classful addressing. So IP addresses, we divide the address space. So we discussed, right, how many number of addresses will be there in IPv4? 2 power 32 addresses, right? So these address space, we have divided them into the concept of classes. Okay, so when we divide the available addresses in the IPv4 address space, into parts or into classes, then we call that type of addressing as classful addressing. Okay, so in classful addressing, the address space is divided into total number of 5 classes. Those are class A, class B, class C, class D, and class E. Class A to class E, total number of classes are 5 classes. Okay, so each part of these class occupies some part of the address space, because the address space is 2 power 32 number of addresses. So among these 2 power 32 addresses, class A occupies some part, class B occupies some part, class C occupies some part, D and E also occupies some part of the address space. Next, how to find out a particular class? That is, let us say if we have been given an IP address in binary representation or binary notation, then they ask us to find out to which class does this binary notation belongs to. Then what we have to do is, as we know that every IP address is 4 bytes long, right? So in order to identify to which class does our IP address belongs to, what we have to do, we have to consider the first byte. Okay, to identify the class to which that given IP address belongs to, if we wanted to identify that, first of all we have to look only to the first byte. If the first digit in the first byte is 0, then you can say that the IP address belongs to class A. Okay, next, if the first byte first two digits are 1 0, then the IP address belongs to class B. Okay, next, if the first three digits in the first byte they are 110, then that IP address belongs to class C. And then if the first four digits are 1110, then the IP address belongs to class D. And in the last, the first four digits are all 1, then the IP address belongs to class E. This is the representation how we can identify whether a given IP address belongs to class A or B or C or D or E. Next, to find the class of a particular IP address in decimal notation. Previously we saw how to find the class in binary notation. If an IP address is given in the decimal notation, how we can find out to which class does that IP address belongs to. Okay, the C. Again here also we look after the first byte only. If the IP address ranges between, that is the first byte of IP address ranges between 0 and 127 inclusive, that is 0 to 127. If the first byte of IP address is any decimal digit which is from 0 to 127, then that IP address belongs to class A. And if it is from 128 to 191, then it belongs to class B. And if it is from 192 to 223, then it belongs to class C. And if the first byte belongs to 224 to 239, then it belongs to class D. And if it is from 240 to 255, it belongs to class E. Okay, now if you see here, this is how we are going to check using some decisions. Okay, so initially we start here. What is the first bit? If the first bit is 0, okay, we simply say that it is class A. So if first bit is not 0, that is if first bit is 1, then what we will do? We will check the second bit. If the second bit is 0, that is if the first bit is 1 and second bit is 0, it is class B. If not, if the first bit and second bit are 1 and the third bit is 0, then it is class C. If it is not 0, then we are going to check the next bit. Then if first three bits and fourth bit is 0, then it is class D. If all the first four bits are 1, then it belongs to class E. Only don't confuse, only this one, this representation we have seen with the help of decision boxes. That's it. Okay. Now, so if you see here, addresses which are beginning with 0, 111, 111, 1 or 127 in decimal, those addresses are reserved for loopback addresses and for internal testing. That is, these addresses, that is addresses which begin with, if it is in binary notation, if the address begin with 0 triple one triple one one, or if it is in decimal, if the IP address starts with 127, then those are reserved for loopback IP addressing. That is, these IP addresses are used for internal testing of that particular machine. That is, if that particular machine is not being connected to the internet, so for internal testing purpose we use that IP addresses for that purpose. Okay, next, these class D addresses, these class D addresses are only reserved for multicasting, and class E type of addresses are reserved for future use. So presently we will not use class E addresses for our discussion. Okay, so this class D and class E addresses are not used for host addresses. Host addresses means now our computers are connected in the internet with the help of IP address only, right? So for connecting our computers in the internet, we cannot or we should not use class D or class E addresses. We are only allowed to use class A, class B and class C addresses only. D and E addresses are not allowed to connect hosts in the internet. Okay, next. So if you see, this is some examples of IP addresses. Can you tell me what are the classes of each addresses? What is the class of the first IP address?
Yeah.
It is class A. Why? Because the
Zero.
first bit started with 0. Okay. Then what is the IP address? I mean, class of the second IP address?
C.
Class C. Why? Because if you
One
see
one
here, so the class C IP address always starts with 110 here. Okay, so it is class C. Next, in C bit, to which class does this belong to?
A.
A. Why? Because class A IP addresses are from 0 to 127. Then what about the last IP address?
E.
Last IP address E,
E.
isn't it? Why? Because the first byte is in between 240 to 255. So what is our value here? 252. So it is in between 240 to 255. So this belongs to class E. Okay. Now let us discuss about the different types of addresses: unicast address, multicast address, and reserved addresses. Okay, so the addresses which we have in class A, B, and class C are used for unicast communication. It means we can send information only from one source to one destination. When we send information from single source to single destination, then that communication is called unicast communication. So for unicast communication, we use the IP address in class A, B and C. Okay, so a host needs to have at least one unicast address, because to either send the data or to receive the data, it must have at least one unicast address. Okay. Next, as I already told, addresses in class D are used for multicast communication. It means we have one source and multiple destinations. So if you wanted to send broadcast messages or multicast messages, then we use this class D IP addresses. Okay. So this multicast address, we can use this multicast address only as destination address, but you cannot use this multicast address as source address. Okay. So that is what we have to remember. Next, about class E addresses. As already discussed, class E addresses are also reserved. Okay, they are left alone for special purposes, that is some kind of research purposes. So we are not going to discuss about this class E IP addresses. Now, coming to the next concept, net ID and host ID. So in classical addressing, we came to know that IP addresses are divided into 5 classes: A, B, C, D, and E, right? Among these 5 classes, okay, now the class A, B, and C, these blocks of IP addresses of class A, B, and C are divided into again 2 parts: net ID and host ID. Okay, So what is net ID and what is host ID, we look after in the further discussion. But if you see on the screen, class A, what is the length of net ID for class A? 1 byte, right? Then what is the length of host ID for class A? 3 bytes, byte 2, byte 3 and byte 4. Now coming to class B, what is the length of net ID? 2 bytes. What is the length of host ID? 2 bytes. For class C, the length of net ID is 3 bytes and the length of host ID is only 1 byte. Okay, for class D, there is no division, and class C also there is no division. So let us now see what are these net IDs and host ID. Okay, so if you see to which part of this IP address belongs to, okay, so that we can say with the help of this one. So if you see here in class A, so the net ID, how many bytes the net ID is? Only 1 byte, that is 8 bits. So if you see here for class A, 8 number of hens are represented, and all the other parts, all the other 3 bytes are for representing the host, that is for the devices or computers. And for class B, first 2 parts are for representing the network and last 2 parts are for representing the host. And for class C, first 3 parts are for representing the network and the last part is used for representing the host. Okay, now classes and blocks. So what is the problem of dividing this IP address space into classes and blocks? One problem is that here each class is divided into some fixed number of blocks, and each block is going to have a fixed size. That is, let us look at one class here. Let us say if we take a class A. Okay, so if we take a class A, now class A is divided into 128 blocks. Okay, how we are saying that class A is divided into 128 blocks? If you see here on the bottom, class A is having the range from IP address range from 0 to 127. So 0 to 127 means how many numbers? 128. So we have 128 number of blocks. Okay, is that clear? So we have 128 number of blocks. That is, the block number starts from 0 and ends at 127. So what will be the first block? The first block will be 0, the second block will be 1, and so on up to the last block will be 127. Okay, so if you see the first block 0 dot, what about the second byte, third byte and fourth byte? The first block always starts with 0 and the next one is 0 dot 0 dot 0. So finally 0 dot 0 dot 0 to 0 dot 255 dot 255 dot 255. That is, we can have a range of values from 0 to 255 for each and every byte, right? So the first block covers the addresses from 0.0.0.0 to 0.255.255.255, right? So this is, we are going to call it as, see here, this first block addresses, the first block IP addresses, we are going to have the net ID 0. Okay, for the second block we have net ID 1. For the last block we have net ID 127. But the addresses are from 127.0.0.0 to 127.255.255.255. For each and every block, okay, the net ID will be same. Only the other host ID part values only will be changing. If you see for the first block, the net ID is 0 from first address to last address, but the net ID is 0 from 0, that is same from first address to last address, but the host ID part differs. Okay, so this is the main thing we have to identify here. Now let us take one example here. So if you see on the right side we have class A. So we discussed that how many number of blocks will be there in class A address space? 128 blocks. So in 128 blocks, how for each block, how many number of addresses we have? So for each block, how many number of addresses we have? 16777.216 number of addresses for each block. Okay, if you see how many number of blocks we have 128 blocks, and for each block, for single block we have 16777.216 number of addresses for each block. Okay, So if you see here, as we told that there are 128 blocks, that is starting from 0 to 127. Okay, so the first one is with net id 0, the next one is net id 1, and so on. In between we have net id 73, and in the last we have net id 127. The first net id, that is IP addresses which are starting with 0, and the last net id IP addresses which are starting with 127 are special blocks. Okay, they are used special for special purposes, that is they are not used for allocating IP addresses. Okay, so leaving them, let us take the 73rd block, that is we are considering the 73rd block here. So what will be the net id here of the 73rd block? We have 73. What is the range of these addresses from for net id 73? 73.0.0.02, 73.255.255.255, isn't it? So for this particular block 73, what will be the network address? 73.0.0.0. The first address always will be the network address, and the last address in that block will be called as broadcast address, and it is always 73.255.255.255. Okay, so do remember, for a single block, okay, always the first address will be the network address and the last address will be a broadcast address. That is the reason we call it as a special address. Okay, so among all these IP addresses, only the IP addresses except the first address and the last address only can be given as IP addresses for the devices connected to that network. That is, the 73.0.0.0 is not an IP address, but it is a address used to identify the network. So you cannot allocate this 73.0.0 to any of the system. Okay, and you also cannot allocate 73.255.255.255 to any of the system. It is a broadcast address. Okay, so this you will be getting more clear when we go for the other discussion. So only the IP addresses from 73.0.0.1 to so on 73.255.255.254. Okay, so up to 254 we can allocate these IP addresses to all the systems which are connected in the network 73.0.0.0. Okay, so this is a single block. Now we are considering the 73rd block. Okay, so this 73rd block consists of 16,777,216 number of addresses, isn't it? So these addresses, the first address we are going to call it as a network address. Okay, so if you see here, the in class A, for one block, okay, for each block we have 16,777,216 number of IP addresses, so which are more than enough for the needs of organization, right? So whatever big the organization may be, it could not have these many number of uh, computers to, or these many number of devices to get connected, right? So what is the how can you call this number 16,777,216?
1 crore,
1 crore
67 lakhs.
67 lakh 77,216. So these are 1 crore 67 lakh 77,216 number of devices can be attached to a single block. And like that, how many blocks we have there in class A? 128 number of blocks are there. So how a big whatever an organization can be, so we may not have this 1 crore 67 lakh 77,216 numbers. Okay, so if we allocate the class A IP addressing mechanism to a particular organization, obviously all these numbers, if you allocate this block to this organization, obviously crores, I mean, or lakhs or crores of IP addresses are being wasted, right? Next, so we'll be discussing about what is the solution to avoid this kind of problem as and when the discussion comes, but for time being just remember. Okay, next, so coming to the class B. So for class B, how many number of net id blocks are there? How many number of blocks are there? 2 power how much? 2 power 16. Okay, for class B, net id part is first 2 bytes and host id part is last 2 bytes. So net id part is 2 power 16 and host id part is 2 power 16. So total number of blocks are 16,384. 2 power 16 is 16,384. And also for each and every block we have 16,386 IP addresses. Okay, so if you see here, the first block, what will be the first block? Because IP addresses of class B start from 128 to 191. So the first block covers the addresses from 128.0.0.0 to 128.0.255.255. So what is the net ID here? The net ID will be first two bytes, right? So for class B, as we saw, for class B, the net ID will be first two bytes. So the first two bytes will be the net ID 128.0, and the last block, that is from 128 to 191, that is 128, 129, 130, 131, so on up to 191.255.0.0 to 191.255.255.255. So what will be the net ID? 191.255. So for like this, how many number of blocks we have? We have 16,384 blocks, and for each block again we have 16,368 IP addresses. Okay, so the total number of organizations which can have this class B address is 16,368. Okay, okay. So next, so in each block, again we have 65,536 addresses. Okay, here previously I said that IP addresses are also 16,368, that I told for a single block. Okay, so total how many blocks are there? 16,368 blocks are there. Different blocks are there in IP address with class B. Okay, because 2 power 16 is 16,384, and host ID part also we have 16, that is per single block we have again 16,368. So for all these 16,368, how many number of things we have? 65,536 addresses. So total we have 65,536 class B IP addresses. Okay, so for this one also, the organization, if at least it contains, let us say our college contains how many, let us say some 10,000, it is also more, 20,000, it is also more, 30,000, it is also more. So if you use class B IP address, we have 65,536 IP addresses to be allocated. So organizations may not be this much large enough to use all these addresses also. Okay, so this is one thing. Next, this is class B. Again, it starts from 128.02 and ends at 191.255. So the first block and the last block are for the first block and last block are for special purposes. Okay. Next, if you see the net ID 180.8. So this 180.8 net ID, if you see the first, the network address is 180.8.0.0, and the last address, broadcast address is 180.8.255.255. Okay, so in between these addresses 180.8.0.1 to 180.8.255.254, these are all the IP addresses which can be allocated for this particular block. Okay, so like this we have 65,536 addresses per a single block. Now coming to class C. So in coming to class C, we have how many number of blocks? The total number of blocks we have, first 3 bytes will be our total number of blocks, that is 2,97,152 blocks. Okay, so these 2,97,152 blocks are there for this one. So leaving some private addresses, we have finally 2,96,896 blocks to be assigned for the organization. But here, what will be the range of IP addresses for class C? 192.0.0.0 to 192.0.0.255 for the first block, and for the last block 223.255.255.0 to 223.255.255.255. So what is the actual range of class C? 192 to 223, right? So the net ID part is first 3 bytes. That is the reason we have net ID 192.0.0.0, and the last is 223.255.255. Okay. Now, so here for a single block of class C, we have 256 address, because in class C the total number of host addresses, host ID part is only 8 bits. So 2 power 8 is 256, right? So we have per block, we have 256 addresses. But allocating a class C IP address for an organization is too small, because a small organization also minimum it may have 200 systems, or if it is somewhat bigger it may have 500, or it may have 1000, or it may have 3000, 4000, or 5000. So allocating class C IP address is very less. That is, if we allocate class C IP addresses, it is not sufficient. So if you observe, if you allocate class A and class B, it is becoming more, and if we allocate class C IP address, it is becoming less. Okay, so this is the problem if we are going to divide the IP address space into different classes. So if you see, this is class C IP address. So again, we have the first block and the last block, the special blocks. Okay, and we have one in between block which is in yellow color. The net ID is 200.11.8.0, that is the network address, and 200.11.8.255 the broadcast address, and in between these two addresses will be the actual IP addresses. So if you see, the number of addresses in our class C, that is the IP addresses in class C, are smaller when compared to the needs of the most of the organizations. Okay. Now coming to class D, so we have only one block of class D addresses. There are no, again, difference between difference of net ID and host ID. Only class D is used for multicasting purpose, and class C is also only one block. It is used for reserved addresses. Yeah. Now coming to the network address, if you see here, this is the representation of network address. So this network address, it actually defines the network. Okay, network addresses ni eppudu manam host ki manam assign cheyakodu. Ante for example, if you see, we have three types of addresses here: class A, class B, and class C. So for class A, okay, so what will be the network address here? 123.0.0. Okay, only the first part will be the net ID, and all the other parts will be host ID. Okay, so for a network address, only the net ID part will be specific, and all the other host ID parts will be compulsorily 0. Okay, so if you see here, for class A, so what will be the representation? First byte is the net ID, and all the last 3 bytes are host ID. So first byte can be specific. Here we represented it with 123. Okay, and all the host ID bits must be completely 0 for this to be the network address. So 123.0.0.0 is the network address. All the other things are IP addresses connected to that network. Now coming to class B, the net ID is first 2 bytes and host ID is last 2 bytes. So that is the reason last 2 bytes are 0. Okay. Now coming to class C, net ID is first three bytes. Host ID is last byte. So that is the reason the last byte is 0. So first 3 bytes can be any number within the range of class C IP address. Okay. So here in classical addressing, what actually happens is the network address is assigned to the organization. So if you see here, the network addresses, the importance of network address is that they play a very important role in classical addressing. So this network address has different properties. The first thing, all host ID bytes are 0. As I already told, all host ID byte parts of the network ID is 0, and this network address defines the network to the rest of the internet. This is what we have discussed just now, right? For the rest of the internet, for the incoming traffic from the rest of the internet outside the organization, this network address is the one which defines the network to the rest of the internet. Okay. The next one is the network address is the first address in the block. We have seen in the previous examples, right? So if you see, this is the on the left side. See here, the network address 200.11.8.0. That is the network address, and that is the first address of the block. Okay. And the broadcast address 200.11.8.255 is the last address of the block. Okay. Next. So if we have been given the network address, we can easily find out the class to which that particular network address belongs to. Okay. So let us now see an example. So if you see, this is the address have been given to us 23.56.7.91. They are asking to find the network address. So to which class does this IP address belongs to? Can anyone say to which class does this IP address belongs to? Class A, right? Why? Because it is in the range 0 to The first byte is in the range of 0 to 127. So this is class A. Okay. So in class A, we know that only the first byte defines the net ID part, and all the next three bytes defines the host ID part. So simply, if it is, we can identify that this is class A, and we know that class A only the first part will be the net ID and all the other parts will be the host ID. So obviously, what will be the network address? Obviously, the first part will be same. All the last three parts will be replaced with 0. Why? Because we came to know that in net ID, all the host ID parts will be 0 and only the network ID part will be specific. So here the network ID part is 23 and all the other parts we replace it with 0. So this will be our network address. Okay. You understood how you can find out the network address given the IP address? Next, given the IP address again, find the network address. So what will be the network address here? What will be the network address here? So to identify the network address, first of all, we have to identify to which class does this IP address belongs to. So to which class does this IP address belong to?
Class
Belongs
B.
to class B because it is ranging from 128 to 191, right? So 132 is in between 128 to 191. So it is class B. So for class B, how many bytes will be net ID part and how many bytes will be host ID part? First two bytes are net ID and last two bytes are host ID. So we'll remain the net ID part as it is. We'll replace zeros on the host ID part. So last two bytes we replace that with 17 and 85 with 0 and 0. So what will be the final network address? 132.6.0.0. So this is how we find out the network address given the IP address. Okay. Next. So given the network address, now they are asking to find the class. So this is the network address. What will be the class? They have given the network address. What will, how can you say the class? Because this is class A. Why? Because it is having only first byte as network ID part and all the other parts are 0. We know that the network address, all the host ID bits will be obviously 0. So here how many bytes of the host ID parts are 0? The last 3 bytes of the host ID part are 0. So obviously the last 3 bytes of the host ID part are 0 in which type of class? Class A, isn't it? So given the network address, we can also find out the to which class does this network ID belongs to. Okay. So next, if you see here, this is our diagram, a simple, communication network to which different routers, WANs are connected to. The first one, see, I have encircled with a red color pen. Okay. The first one is, this is our token ring LAN. Okay. So here, this address is 220.3.6.0 and this is class C IP address, and to this network, other systems are connected. So if you see, this token ring is connected to the router R1. See, now this router R1 is acting as interface between the token ring network and the switched WAN. So the exit point of this token ring network is only one IP address, and the entry point for this switched WAN is also one IP address. So if you see, for a particular network, there will be only one IP address, one network address which is connected to the external internet. Okay. Now coming to the third one, we have Ethernet LAN here with IP address 134.18.0.0 which is class B. And coming to the fourth one, we have a point-to-point WAN which is connecting two routers here. Okay. And the fifth one, we have a Ethernet LAN which is a class A IP address. So this is how different types of networks are connected in the internet. Okay.